broad support for the people of Ukraine, for the government of Ukraine, and in turn, their broad support for the approach we've taken.
Can I switch topics to Venezuela?
Sure.
A couple days before the new year, the opposition said they're dissolving the interim government headed by Juan Guaido, who of course is recognized by the United States. Does the United States still recognize Juan Guaido as the legitimate interim president? What does this mean for assets such as those of Citgo and operations and assets controlled by the interim government? And does the United States have any response to President Maduro who speaks of potential opening to the United States?
Well, Sean, we continue to recognize what is the only remaining democratically elected institution in Venezuela today, and that's the 2015 National Assembly. We and the region's democracies will continue to support the efforts of the 2015 National Assembly and others to return democracy to Venezuela. Members of the National Assembly have the democratic aspirations of the Venezuelan people at heart. That has been at the heart of our approach as well. We support the Venezuelan people in their desire for a peaceful restoration of democracy through free and fair elections. We applaud efforts of the democratic opposition to restore democratic institutions and bring an end to Venezuela's humanitarian crisis, even in the face of the Maduro regime's continued repression. And we'll continue to work with the international community to help address the Venezuelan crisis and to press for free and fair elections in Venezuela, consistent with the wishes and desires of the Venezuelan people. The Venezuelan people they want a clear timeline for free and fair presidential and legislative elections. In that vein, we support the efforts of the unitary platform and the Venezuelan-led negotiations process as key drivers in the broader push to restore democracy, prosperity, and the rule of law in Venezuela. When it comes to the assets that you referenced, our overall Venezuela-related sanctions and related restrictions remain in place. I understand that members of the National Assembly are discussing amongst themselves how they will oversee these overseas assets. We're going to continue to have discussions with them on that front. In terms of our approach to Nicolás Maduro, our approach has not changed. He is illegitimate. We support the 2015 National Assembly as the only remaining vestige of democracy in Venezuela. Something on this? Yes.
I have Rula Al-Khatib Al-Hurra. I have two questions. The first question is, what do you comment on the visit of the Israeli minister?
Understand. But before we get to that, anything else on Venezuela?
Just follow up
yeah,
on
sure.
Just you say that they're discussing among themselves how to administer assets. I mean, is your sense that there actually is still an interim government? There's actually still an institution, even if we consider that to be legitimate in terms of free and fair elections, that there actually is a body, a government that can administer?
Well, there is an institution in the form of the 2015 National Assembly. Now, the 2015 National Assembly is going to have discussions amongst its members to determine precisely what that entity looks like. There is one individual who personifies the 2015 National Assembly, who represents the 2015 National Assembly, whether that's some sort of consultative body, whether it's a group of people. These are discussions that the 2015 National Assembly will need to make, and will remain in close contact with them as they make those decisions.
So just a final point, Maduro himself has said that he's open to a better relationship with the United States. Do you take that seriously? Is the United States interested in engaging in any way to that end?
Well, as you know, we have engaged when it comes to our core interests. We have engaged when it comes primarily to detained Americans. And we've been in a position to bring home several wrongfully detained American citizens from Venezuela over the past year, and in fact, over the past month or so, late last year. But again, our approach to Nicolás Maduro is not changing. He is not the legitimate leader of Venezuela. We recognize the 2015 National Assembly. We will continue to enforce our sanctions program against the Maduro regime. We will calibrate that sanctions program, as we said before, based upon what we see from the Maduro regime in terms of advancing the prospect for the Venezuelan people achieving their democratic aspirations. There was positive movement late last year as the as the unitary platform and the regime met in Mexico City, we of course would like to see additional progress because it would represent additional progress for the Venezuelan people as they seek to realize those aspirations. Anything else on Venezuela? Yes.
So you say you still recognize the National Assembly of 2015. What about your view of Guaido? Do you still consider him as the legitimate president of Venezuela, or your view on him has changed?
Well, Juan Guaido remains a member of the 2015 National Assembly, which we recognize, the 2015 National Assembly, because it is the last democratically elected institution in the country. We'll continue to coordinate with him as a member of the 2015 National Assembly and with other like-minded democratic actors in Venezuela to support the Venezuelan people in their aspirations for democracy, rule of law, and prosperity in their country.
So not as the president of the transition government. Right?
The 2015 National Assembly has renewed its mandate. It itself has made decisions. We respect and will respect the decisions that the 2015 National Assembly makes. Anything else on Venezuela? Venezuela?
No.
No. Okay. I did call on you, so
Yes.
it sounds like